I can punch any man in the face if you come close. Yeah.
If somebody else talks to Courtney tonight, you're gonna go confront that man?
Yeah, I'll do that.
I saw Colt get rejected by May, and I feel kind of bad for him because he's sweet, he's funny, he's kind of cute. I don't want him to feel like he doesn't have a shot with people.
I don't think you should compete with me because you lose.
I'm not gonna be so nice anymore. Reality and then Usman, they don't mix.
You think you're a man?
You have to tell me you're a man or you're more of a man. You're nothing.
Love triangles are rarely a good thing, but I tell you what, they sure can be entertaining and interesting to watch, can't they? Who would have thought that we'd be rooting for Colt of all people? So, before we dive into all the latest developments with Colt, Courtney and Usman, let's rewind to the start.
Is that you?
That is me. It's been a few years.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a great conversation starter.
Well, who wouldn't want to put their head on my face?
Don't worry, fear not. That lady, she's not one of the singles. She's not an unsuspecting lady that's been taken back to Colt's room only to be confronted by his face pillow. No, she's the dating coach at this retreat. And she's actually noticed that Colt appears to be lacking in self-confidence. That's why today she's decided to meet up with him one-to-one to try and help him. And Colt can't exactly argue with her assessment.
I don't really always have the best opinion in myself or strong confidence.
My sense was that you walked into this not necessarily fully believing that you were going to find somebody.
Yeah, she's absolutely right. Her assessment is spot on. Colt doesn't really believe that he'll find love. But, and here's the thing, Colt is blowing things out of all proportion in his own mind. Not every girl that he finds attractive has to become a big love affair. Like, it is okay to like someone, find them attractive, but not necessarily take things further. So Tanya encourages Colt to just take the pressure off. Rather than going into interactions with the thought process that this might be love, how about you just start by forming friendships first?
Relationships don't have to start out with, great passion.
You telling me I don't need to be engaged within 5 days of meeting somebody?
You absolutely do not, and I would strongly advise against that.
Take the pressure off, just don't try so hard. Be yourself, have some fun, and things will start falling into place, Tanya tells him. People will begin to see you for who you are, the real you, the attentive, the romantic, the engaging version of yourself. Now, Tanya goes on to ask if Colt has his eye on anyone, and Colt explains that there are two women that he's interested in at the moment. One of them is May, one of the new ladies that he met at the first party, and the other, of course, is Courtney. But he tells her there is a stumbling block when it comes to Courtney.
She might be interested in Usman.
You just worry about you, okay?
Yeah. Whatever.
You don't have to play the same game as everybody else, Colt.
Yeah.
You gotta say, that is a pretty good lesson for most people, and Colt is ready to try. Like, he promises Tanya that he's gonna try and put himself out there a bit more when they all head to the club later on that evening. Now, Colt's plan of action is to begin by spending a bit more time with May, get to know her a bit better. And as it turns out, that is a good idea. You see, were he to spend more time with Courtney, as he begins to realise on the drive to the club, he might find himself embroiled in some unnecessary drama.
I can punch any man in the face if you come close. Yeah.
If somebody else talks to Courtney tonight, you're gonna go confront that man?
Yeah, I'll do that.
What is it with Usman really trying to flex his muscle? Like, he really seems to want to punch someone, doesn't he? Last episode he was saying he'd punch Chantel if she were a guy, and now he's saying he'd punch anyone if they talked to Courtney. I mean, all this trying to flex his muscles at the big man seems to stem from massive insecurity, doesn't it? He needs to stop trying to intimidate Colt, because make no mistake, he knows that Colt's listening, and obviously that comment is aimed at Colt, and he needs to chill out and in fact get his story straight. Here he is acting as if he adores Courtney, he'd literally physically battle someone for her, but not that long ago he was acting as if he didn't even know her. He was telling us privately that he doesn't see any future with her. So what's changed? It's a bit suspicious, isn't it? And Colt, for one, just isn't buying anything that Usman's saying.
Honestly, I don't feel like Usman's intentions are pure. He's going around every day trying to fight with people, threatening people, marking his territory with Courtney.
Bring it on, says Colt. Now, his plan is still to focus on May this evening, but just because Usman is trying to flex his muscle and intimidate him, that doesn't mean that he's just going to give up on Courtney, even if that means getting in a fight with Usman. Like, he's not worried about that.
Good luck, Usman.
Now, when they get to the club, with Tanya's words about building friendships first still ringing in his ears, Colt helps Courtney by getting her a drink. And this just reinforces what Courtney has already started to feel about Colt. In fact, she reveals that she's been pleasantly surprised by Colt so far.
I thought he was gonna be an asshole. Like, I've seen him like yelling at his exes, yelling at his mom, yelling at people. I'm like, this is not the Colt that I'm getting to know. He's sweet and like a teddy bear.
I've got to say, I actually agree with her here. The Colt that we've seen on other shows in previous years, be that to his mum or to his exes, hasn't exactly always come across in the best way, has he? He does seem to be a bit of a douche at times. But for some reason, this time he really does seem to be different. I don't know, maybe he's grown up a bit. Maybe his most recent divorce from Vanessa has taught him something. I'm not sure, but whatever it is, I do kind of find myself liking Colt a bit more on this show. Now, that does come with a caveat. I guess we're going to have to wait and see how long that lasts. But for Courtney, she goes as far as to say, right now, Colt is kind of appealing to her. But I just wonder whether or not she feels the same after she watches him dance.
That chicken dance thing that he's doing, I feel like the dance, it's like the birds, right? Where they do like the crazy and they're like, doo, 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 doo.
Poor Colt. Now, his dancing does attract one lady to him, Chantel, but that's only because she takes pity on him and wants to help him out. She, like Tanya, tells him he needs to chill out. She in fact shows him a few moves. And with her help, things begin to get a bit better.
Colt, you gotta tone it down. You gotta, here, let's just, let's do this. Okay.
Try it.
Oh my God, whoa.
So, having loosened up after a few drinks and a few moves, Colt heads out to find May. Things actually start off quite well, but after a little bit of chit-chat, he appears to forget everything he's learnt today and jumps straight for the kill.
If you're not having any dates planned, would you be interested in going on a date with me?
Oh boy, that long pause, not to mention the face that she's pulling, isn't exactly giving the impression that she's about to say yes, is it? Like, it kind of looks like she's looking at him with pity, almost, and that's hardly what you want when you're asking a girl out. Now, with this in mind, given what we're seeing with our own eyes, it comes as no surprise when, after that long pause, May finally says,
We vibe,
Yeah.
but dating, not sure about.
Okay.
I'm just, to be honest, like, I just have to be super honest about that.
Ouch, that didn't exactly go as planned. Now, May is very nice about it, but she's also very gentle and firm. She shuts Colt down completely, but she does say, I would like to talk to you more, I just don't see us dating. So why is that? Could the outcome maybe have been different if Colt had listened to Tanya's advice? If he'd built up a friendship with May first? Well, not exactly. You see, for as sweet as May thinks that Colt is, he also just isn't her type.
I usually date men that are very goal-oriented, also healthy, fit. I can play video games with him, but that's pretty much it.
That last part, was that really necessary, May? Felt like a bit of a dig. Now, I get it. If she's not attracted to him, that's fair enough. But to Colt's credit, he takes it on the chin. He remains friendly and nice. He even thanks her for being honest. But privately to the camera crew, he admits that did hurt his ego. It was a blow to his confidence to be rejected like that. But little does he know that this interaction was spotted by someone else. In fact, this may just be a blessing in disguise. You see, Courtney witnessed everything. And believe it or not, what she saw has kind of touched her heart.
I saw Colt get rejected by May, and I feel kind of bad for him because he's sweet, he's funny, he's kind of cute. I don't want him to feel like he doesn't have a shot with people.
Courtney Courtney's really beginning to warm to Colt. She finds him kind of cute. Like, she just doesn't understand why May would have rejected such a nice guy. You've got to say, those are some seriously positive signs that things might be going in the right direction. Maybe Colt really does have a shot of winning Courtney over. But if that is the case, then mark my words, things are gonna get messy. In fact, as this sneak peek shows from next week's episode, Colt and Usman are headed for a showdown.
I don't think you should compete with me because you lose.
I'm not going to be so nice anymore. Reality and then Usman, they don't mix.
You think you're a man?
You have to tell me you're a man or you're more of a man. You're nothing.
If Usman is as much of a fighter as he is an international superstar, then let's just say my money is on Colt. But one thing's for sure, this is going to be interesting to see what goes down. I can't wait.